This is my construction documentary for my music video, digipack and poster I've created. I first of all started with creating some mock digipacks using random photos and band names to get used to the conventions looked for on digipacks, such as barcodes, production information and lyric lists. This also enabled me to get used to working with InDesign. I also made some mock posters as the conventions differ from digipacks by the needs of advertising for the album release. Information needed on this type of poster includes information such as the release date, the price, and the name of the album and of course the band's name. Before I could get started on creating my first draft of my digipack, we did some Photoshop tutorials to help us learn how to use and work Photoshop. I learnt many skills by doing this, such as using the burn tool to create a shadow effect on certain subjects, creating and using layers, and using a range of blending tones and range of fonts and brushes to give the mock posters and CD covers a professional look to them. After learning how to use the basics of Photoshop, I decided I would create one more digipack mock in a style of world disasters by using contrasting aspects such as a city in the Grand Canyon and the Eiffel Tower underwater. Even though I could not use this as my final digipack, I developed my skills with Photoshop even more, which in the end helped a great deal towards my final outcome of my digipack. Once completed my research into the conventions of what is needed on my digipack and poster, I designed my first draft using both Photoshop and InDesign. Once I was fairly happy with the appearance, I printed the layouts off and annotated them, noting which aspects I needed to change and what information I needed to add in for it to make it look as professional as possible. Before I could start filming my music video, I needed to learn how to use the camera proficiency on the Canon 7D, allowing me to use depth of field when filming. We did a short session in class, filming classmates, getting them in and out of focus by changing the aperture and ISO. This got me familiar to the process, so when I come to film I know how to use the equipment. When filming the music video, as the location is on the edge face of a cliff off the north coast, it was extremely windy, which altered my ability to use some equipment, such as the crane, as it was too shaky and hard to control with the resistance from the wind. Although I managed, some footage is still rather out of focus and not very smooth. On the other hand, I think once the footage is edited together, I think it will look quite effective and will tone in nicely to the conventions of the music video I am aiming to produce. I edited my film using Final Cut Pro, which was new to me as I had never used it before. I found it fairly straightforward to use and got used to the way of editing rather quickly. Once I had put all my footage together, I noticed I did not get enough close-up shots of the main singer, which I would have to film on another occasion and add in later on. I also use a time-lapse of the sunset as I think it adds a great effect to the music video. Once completed editing, I imported my film and put it into After Effects, where I could add the 8mm effect, which I think gives the video a professional look, but at the same time conveys a different aspect to the video as it almost makes it look old. I also added in some burn effects on the shots of the location, as I like how this technique adds more colour to the shots. After many changes, I finally completed my album poster by including a picture of the album, the price, HMV logo and text, the album release date and even a production logo. I even added it next to a page spread from an article in Q Music magazine to make it look as professional as possible. This is my final digipack, which I created mainly in InDesign with using Photoshop for editing and changing the photos to make them look as real as possible. I have also finished my lyric book consisting of 3 double spread pages with location photos in the background. I like this aspect of the book as it shows what the location of the music video is like in more detail. Within my digipack I have included production company logos, a barcode, a parental advisory logo and information surrounding the outline of the CD and the back cover, such as where it was made, copyright laws and even the band's website. Also, by adding a quote from one of the band's lyrics adds to the tone and appearance of the overall CD cover. Here's my time management of how I have structured and completed my ancillary and main tasks. I think I have managed my time fairly well, although I think if I had filmed earlier on, I would have had more time to perhaps film again in a different location to get a broader variety of shots.